we always had these amazing resources at our fingertips.
Can you remember when you two first met?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'd been hearing about Jon we grew up in this small town called Bellingham, Washington, north of Seattle, about 150 kilometers, 170 kilometers north of Seattle. And Jon had moved to town, and we were barely teenagers at this point. And Jon had quickly acquired a reputation as this hotshot guitar player who knew all the Eddie Van Halen solos and all this kind of thing. And so he became a subject of discussion, like, wow, who is this kid? You know, and my friend and I, who I was in school with, we had a little band, and we'd been talking about it as well, and we walked into a music store, and there was Jon, like, you know, trying out guitars and playing away, and we asked him on the spot to join our crappy band, and Jon said, yeah, sure, sounds good. So that's how we met.
Well, actually, if you can believe it or not, too, he was actually the guy that was hiding behind the guy that asked me to join the band. Like this other friend of ours that he was talking about kind of did the negotiating, and I kept looking behind him going, who is this really shy guy who's not saying anything? And that was him, believe it or not.
Yeah, my friend was really ambitious, you know, and he was like, I'm doing the talking here.
Yeah,
you know, like,
he was the one making the master plan.
And you know, he's actually still in Bellingham, actually.
Where did he ended up in playing bands as well, or was it?
He ended up sort of running a recording studio in our hometown for a while, but you know, playing in some blues bands and things like that, and but somewhere along the way, his ambition sort of wasn't quite as pushy, and the shy ones turned out to be a little more ambitious in a sense, because we pushed ourselves to get out of town.
So true.
Did you use music to get out of Bellingham, or was that not really the case?
I think it helped make Bellingham tolerable. You know, I mean, Bellingham's a nice town, but culturally it was just far away enough, and this is long before the internet kind of thing, that it didn't. There were bits missing, you know, from the program.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad place to grow up or anything like that. And we also had a little benefit in that my dad was kind of a musician for a while, and he put a recording studio in my house that I lived in for my teenage years. So we may have been in a small town, but we had a pretty, you know, by the standards of that day, we had a pretty big time recording studio to work in too. That's where we made our first record.
Yeah.
So you know, you can say that we were in a small town, maybe there wasn't much going on, but we always had these amazing resources at our fingertips.
True.
And that's where we would spend, like, you know, after school or on weekends. I mean, we'd go get drunk and hang out with girls and stuff too, but a lot of the time we would just go, like, work in the studio all weekend or something. And our first demo tape that we made there is what became this record of ours called Failure. And that's what kind of got us signed, not kind of got us, it got us signed to a major label and blah, blah, blah. The rest all happened arguably because of that. So
Yeah.
It might have been a small town, but we had some great things at our disposal.
I think, yeah, I think, and what's also nice about a small town too is that the atmosphere is fairly relaxed and fairly mellow, and there isn't a lot of pressure to, you know, like, it's not like where shit's just piled on top of each other, like if we grew up in New York, you know, like, or something like that, you know, your parents are struggling to make things happen. We had space, we had time, we could develop our thing, and, you know, I think that music, in the sense that it was like broadcasts coming from this other world that was the whole other world. It was kind of like a reminder that, like, you know, whatever mentalities are placed around you, you know, we could see the chess pieces of ignorance and small town kind of mini fascism around us, and we could see that there were ways to move around the board, that we were going to get out of there.